Hello, my friend. I'm glad you're here again, giving yourself this moment to breathe, to listen, to reflect. Before we begin, take a slow breath in. Hold it for a moment. And let it go softly. Let the day loosen its grip on you. Let the noise settle. You've arrived in a space where you don't have to rush, fix, or prove anything. Just be here with me. Today's question is one that touches the deepest corners of the human heart. Why do we wait for loss to teach us the value of what we already have? It's a question we don't want to face, not because it's complicated, but because it's so painfully true. We all know the feeling. Something leaves our life, a person, a season, a place, a moment, and suddenly we see how irreplaceable it was. We replay it in our mind, thinking, if only I had known, if only I had slowed down, if only I had paid attention while it was still here. But in the present, we rarely feel that clarity. We move through our days distracted, assuming that what surrounds us will always be there. We postpone love. We delay gratitude. We save tenderness for later, a later we're certain will come. Loss sharpens our vision. But why do we need loss to see clearly? Let's look gently at the core of it. 1. Because the ordinary blinds us to the precious. There is a strange truth about human beings. We adapt quickly. What once felt miraculous becomes normal. What once felt special becomes routine. The people who once felt like gifts become familiar shapes in the background. The mind learns to dismiss what stays with us every day. Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. The familiar stops surprising us, and without surprise, appreciation becomes quiet. Let me tell you a story. A man once lived beside the sea. When he was young, he would sit for hours on the shore, watching the tide breathe against the sand. He loved it. It anchored him. It made him feel alive. But as years passed, he grew busy. He walked past the sea every morning on his way to work and barely glanced at it anymore. Then one day, he had to move inland for his job. On his final evening, he stood by the water and wept, not because he was leaving the sea, but because he realized how long he had already left it while still living beside it. We don't mourn what is gone. We mourn what we stopped noticing while it was still here. 2. Because we mistake permanence for guarantee. We assume the people we love will always pick up the phone. We assume our parents will always sit at the table. We assume friendships can handle unlimited maybe next time. We assume time is abundant. But permanence is an illusion. The people we love are aging even as we speak. The relationships we care about are shifting shape each year. The places we feel at home in are changing beneath our feet, yet we move as if everything is frozen in place. Sometimes the shock of loss is not just the absence, it's the realization of how fragile everything truly was. 3. Because presence is harder than memory. Memory makes everything golden. It removes the stress of the moment. It filters out imperfections. It keeps only what was beautiful, meaningful, warm. The present, on the other hand, feels messy. People annoy us. Days feel rushed. Life feels complicated. There is always something else demanding our attention. In the present, love competes with stress. Gratitude competes with fatigue. Connection competes with distraction. So we don't feel the depth of what we have while we have it, not because we don't care, but because the present is noisy and memory is quiet. 4. Because saying, "I'll appreciate it later," feels easier than being vulnerable now. Sometimes we don't express love because we don't know how, or because it feels awkward, or because we fear being misunderstood, or because we think we'll have more time later to say what matters. But later is a slippery thing. Here's another story, a real one. A woman used to visit her grandmother every Sunday. They would drink tea, talk, laugh about small things. The grandmother always waited by the window for her. As the woman grew older, life became busier. She began visiting every 2 weeks, then once a month, then every few months. Her grandmother never complained. She just kept waiting at that same window. One winter evening, the woman remembered suddenly, I should visit her again this weekend. But her grandmother passed away that Thursday. The woman later said, I loved her so much. I thought she knew, but I never told her in words. I thought I had more time. We don't delay love because we don't feel it. We delay it because we assume life will wait for us. 5. Because loss forces stillness, and stillness reveals truth. While things are present, we're busy living around them. When they're gone, the movement stops. We can't distract ourselves anymore, and in that stillness, we finally feel what we always felt, but ignored. Loss doesn't create value, it exposes it. So what can we do? How do we stop waiting for loss? We learn to pause, to notice, to return to the present. And this doesn't require grand gestures, just small, intentional awareness. When you hug someone, feel it for a second longer. When someone speaks, listen with your full attention. When your child laughs, memorize the sound. Take pictures of ordinary moments, not just special ones. Tell people what they mean to you before you need to. Sit with the people you love without rushing to your next task. Allow yourself to be moved by small things, a sunset, a quiet morning, a familiar voice. The goal is not to prevent loss. The goal is to prevent regret. A powerful truth. You are living someone's good old days right now. Years from now, you will look back at this time, these routines, these people, these conversations, and ache for their return. You will realize the beauty that lived in your everyday moments. You will wish you had paused more, wished you had looked longer, wished you had said what was in your heart. This is not meant to make you sad, but awake. What you have now is not ordinary. It is temporary and therefore precious. A final story. A man once said, "When my father was alive, I only saw the flaws in our relationship. After he died, all I remembered was the love I had overlooked." He paused, and with tears in his eyes, he added, "I wish I had loved him with the clarity I found too late." That's what happens when loss becomes our teacher. Its lessons are beautiful, but painfully timed. You don't have to wait for loss. You can learn the lesson now. Look around your life with the same tenderness you give to memory. Treasure it while it breathes. Love what is yours while it still reaches back. Thank you for being here, for giving yourself this moment to reflect. Stay gentle, stay curious, and stay kind. And if this question spoke to you, continue your journey with us on Yarven's Questions. More stories, more reflections, and more quiet truths are waiting for you. Take care, my friend. Until next time.